Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ida Hour.
Holy shit.
We're here.
Wow.
It's finally dark.
Yep.
It's 8 o'clock at night. 9 o'clock at night.
No.
It's 8 something at night.
It's like 8, dude. It's not 9.
A lot of people wanted me to talk about RFK Jr. and his interview on Joe Rogan. And I do want to do that. I'd love to do that. Can't do it on here.
Yeah, it's hard. And also,
Can't really do it on here.
besides the IP problem, it's hard to listen. It's very hard to be a podcast listening to another podcast.
That's not my issue with it.
That's my issue.
Well, that's because you don't like listening to anything that's longer than 20 minutes. But
You're silly.
what did I say?
Silly Billy.
You said you don't think I'm smart. I'm like, no, I think you're very smart, but I think you refuse to be smart in long form.
You crack me up.
But
You're so demeaning.
I'm not
That's
demeaning.
insane.
I just think you're so smart and you don't use your brain like in the long form.
Ida sees me like 3-4 hours a week, and she just thinks when I'm not here, I'm just like
That's
I'm
not true.
not a person that doesn't do things.
I'm not
on my
saying
own.
that. No, I think you do 1,000 things, and that's why I'm like,
Yeah.
you do yourself a disservice sometimes because like,
I listen to tons of long form stuff. Long form stuff you can't even wrap your head around.
oh yeah,
Long form stuff
Like
that
what?
would make your steam come out of your ears.
it has aliens and you
Aliens,
you-
I am
will
the
say
source of all
that
of your
is-
shit, you cocksucker.
That's not true.
I do everything.
I've been into UFOs for a while. I just never actually let myself dive deep into it.
And then you met me.
I will say,
Then you met me, and I
You're-
brought all the good stuff.
that's true. You are. Listen, I just think you're very smart. I have always thought.
I think you're hyper intelligent.
I've always said that. I've always thought that.
Same here.
But when I try to put The Sopranos in front of you or something in front of you like that, you're like, I'm
Well,
not.
that's the thing
I'm
is
not
your
into it.
definition of smart is this. Listen, I remember.
I don't think that's what makes you
I
smart.
remember
is
I
watching
was in
Sopranos.
in Africa, and these two Lebanese girls. I met these two Lebanese girls, and if you're traveling around, you're Lebanese. You're like the top 1% of your fucking country. So these two Lebanese girls were like, "Why don't you go to college, John? Like, why don't you go to college? Like, you're wasting. You're American. Go to college. Like, you waste your time." And I remember this Spanish guy that was with me was like, he like got so frustrated. His name was Leitzer. He was the nicest guy on earth. He was like one of my best friends while I was out in Africa. And he sits there and he's listening to these two girls just berate me and kind of bully me for like 20 minutes about not going to college. And Leitzer sits down and he goes, "Listen." And he goes, "There is the tree. The bird flies to the top of the tree. The monkey climbs to the top of the tree. The snake, it wiggles its way up to the top of the tree." And he goes, "John is the fish. How the fuck is the fish going to get to the top of the tree? Does it swim to the top of the tree?" He goes, "He swims. He goes into the lake.
So
he does
you're
his own
another
thing."
species that can't go to college.
Yeah, maybe I just don't need to do The Sopranos. How about that?
That's not true.
All right.
I think that's required. Reason.
Shout out to Leitzer. I don't know where he is.
Well, the reason I can't talk about RFK Jr. is because they keep pulling his interviews off of YouTube, and I've gotten, the thing is speaking of podcasts, the All In podcast, which is those 4 very intelligent billionaires sitting around,
In the submarine?
shooting the shit, essentially, huh?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the guys trapped in the submarine right now.
4 billionaires trapped in their palatial estates, having 4-hour-long conversations remotely from whatever bunker they're in, and it's really interesting. I actually really enjoy the podcast. Again, I obviously don't look at what they say as like gospel, but they're very intelligent. They control a lot of money, so I find much of the knowledge that they impart to be interesting. And they said that even saying the word of the jab, the V word, gets you in some weird algorithmic shadow ban sphere where they were even afraid of saying that word on YouTube, because it's like I've alluded to before, it's not even the YouTube terms and service that I'm afraid of, because, well, I guess I am, but it's more than that. It's the bots and the algorithms that are, it's all robotic. Like, it's not some guy sitting there, imparting his ideology onto.
It's an AI.
It's an AI. Certainly it is ideological. Like, the people that are working in tech have a say in, what they want, what information they want out there. But yeah, so I have a fear of talking about it. I will talk about it more extensively on my Patreon. So if you want to come over there, you can hear me and hear all my thoughts about the jab, okay? Whether or not I got the jab, I did get the jab.
Fauci, ouchie.
Yeah, is that the name of the episode? Is that the name of the episode?
That's a term, man.
How funny would it be if I called this episode that and then didn't talk about it at all?
I'd
and
be
then just
afraid
said,
to
come
call
to the
all these terms for the jab.
Fauci, ouchie. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what it should be called. Listen, I will say this. I think he should maybe be in jail.
Who?
The ouchie rhyme. The guy that his name rhymes with ouchie.
With Louchy?
Yeah.
Crouchy.
Grouchy. Crouching
It sounded
tiger.
like just-
Yeah, I think maybe he should be in jail.
Yeah, no.
And by
Yeah.
maybe, almost certainly should be in jail. The funding, and again, I'll get into it on the Patreon. Here, we're gonna keep it really light. What should we talk about here? Should we talk about trans people? No. It sucks because it's like I would like to make that the public one, and I would like to talk about it. But yeah, you can't really. You really kind of can't. Do I think RFK has a shot at winning the presidency? No. But does it move the Overton window? Yeah. And I think that's as important as whoever the fuck, whatever body we have, whatever warm body we have sitting in the Oval Office.
I think people like RFK and
Barely
like
warm in this
Sanders,
case.
and Sanders had a much bigger opportunity at winning the presidency
Oh,
than RFK.
totally,
but
yeah.
But people like that, as long as they're moving the public subconscious towards a certain position, I think they're doing their job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the goal is hopefully that eventually we can get to a place where you're able to where the odds against the corporate and big Washington bureaucratic machine are not insurmountable.
And
that's really the goal.
Something I'm very proud of is millennials, and just the opinion I have, as opposed to Gen Xers who are completely useless as a generation and just hate everybody. I love Zoomers. Okay. I think Zoomers are very cool. I think they.
You've said the opposite before.
I have, but recently, listen, I flip flop. I'm John Kerry.
Yeah, he's John Kerry.
I think Zoomers are. I hate them and I love them. But my love part of Zoomers I do think they're an extremely intelligent generation.
Sure. Yeah.
I think they get a bad rap. I think, there was a lot of studies done about the amount of information a human brain. A lot of people thought that the rise in autism was caused by like the amount of information human beings were just taking in on a daily basis due to the internet.
Funny.
Isn't that funny?
That's very funny.
People in like the 1800s are reading like 12 books their entire life, and then like you get to Zoomers who are constantly absorbing information the entire time,
but can't read an entire book.
Exactly.
I'm not saying all of
but the
them.
brain doesn't differentiate between reading a book and reading an article on Google.
Did you see Ashley Ray got like in this, who I didn't know who that was. Apparently she's a comedian.
Mm-hmm. I think
Zoomers, to me.
I think Zoomers they're pretty grounded when it comes to ideology.
I hesitate to make any sweeping generalizations about any generation because I think obviously there's it's a case by case basis.
True.
But I
absolutely.
And I also think it's we don't really learn about generations and their trends until years and years and years later. So it's really hard to. But that's why like we're just now getting to a place where it's normal to talk about boomers as if they're complete garbage because
they kind of are. But
sure, but they are. I mean, but. What then are we? What are they going to say about us? Like, what are they going to say about, and it's like, does that apply to us? I don't know. It's kind of also, where you draw the lines of the years of when they start, when they end.
That's
all of this is debatable. So
I think our era of millennials era of millennials
a lot of studies say I'm Gen
Zoomers,
Z. So it's.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know even. I'm like a cusp. I don't even know what I am.
I'm a tail end millennial. I think honestly, in reality, like, early millennials, late stage Zoomers should be their own fucking thing. Tail end millennials, not Zoomers. Late stage Gen X, early millennials should be their own things. Late millennials, early stage Zoomers should be their own thing, as opposed to.
See, I'm so confused already. I'm like, can we all
old Zoomers and young old millennials and young Zoomer
I see what you're saying.
Young millennials, old Zoomers should be their own thing.
I see what you're saying because they have had more exposure to the computer.
Yes.
At a younger age, and I think that has a really fundamental like
I'm sure people exposed to the printing
in your
press
mind.
had a similar kind of effect.
I personally hate the cave painting generation. I think that they caused they wreaked all the havoc that we're now dealing with. But I don't know. My brain is a little burned out because I was listening to that interview on Rogan, which is crazy and wild and super fascinating and super interesting. And then I was listening to this Twitter space about geopolitics and whether or not China has plans of global hegemony or whether or not they kind of want to keep it in their region. And then I'm like, Jesus
I got an idea.
Christ, like, oh God, what? I shouldn't even mention China around John.
China around me.
Should never even mention it to you. Am I gonna have to edit it out? What does it say?
No, they have a pretty kind of. I think they know their limits. There's been recent propaganda being pushed in China towards like their One Belt One Road policy, where they're like, hey, because they have an overabundance of men and they have less women than men by like 35 million people.
Wow.
Right. So there's more. I think there's like 30. I think the population, they have more men equal to the population of like California versus women.
What?
Yes, they have like 35, like 38 million more men than women because people during the one child policy, they would choose to keep men versus women.
I thought we had a lot of incels.
Well, that creates it's not incel. It is incels. What that creates is
forced inceldom.
Forced inceldom. So what that creates is a massive social maneuverability for women within the country. So if you're a woman born in a small village in China, you have the opportunity to move to a city and you have you have an abundance of partners you can pick versus the men who they have what they call bachelor villages in China, where you have entire towns in China that are pretty much just men because all the women left and went to the city. So what you have is those men who are in those bachelor villages or men who don't have that social maneuverability. They'll be encouraged to go outside of China and find wives outside of China in places like Africa, the Philippines. They're importing women from the Philippines, from like Indonesia into China for that specific purpose because
or they'll just, they'll create their own social maneuverability and become gay. And that could solve a lot of the problems.
You have a weird, ex-communist countries have a strange relationship with homosexuality. If you're trying to tell me,
I'm kidding. I know it wouldn't fly.
It's like if you're trying to, honestly, in those bachelor villages, they got to be fucking each other constantly. There's no way they're not, man.
I have no idea. But yeah, between the global politics talk and the public health talk and the UFO talk, I'm feeling like a really dumb person for not going the, bimbo route. Like,
oh, this is a bimbo himbo podcast, so
it is, and I never want to insinuate that I have a clue as to what the right answer is with anything. I do, however, think a lot of people should be in jail.
Ida loves makeup. Lululemon.
I love makeup. I love Lululemon.
She likes grass-fed meats.
Yeah,
healthy vitamins.
Yes, yeah.
Mineral water.
Yeah, I should just be some thought on the West Side. Like, I should have. I know that too. Like, every day of my life, I'm like, but if I did that, I mean, I would probably just kill myself. So it's like, I don't.
No, I wish I was retarded. Like, I wish I just fucking
it's okay to be dumb as hell.
Dude, I wish I just wore like Oakleys and liked fishing. Like, straight up. Like, I wish my whole life was like, dude, I fucking love my nieces and my golden retriever and fucking Salt Life. Like, it
certainly eases the burden of when some larger, whether it be governmental or existential form comes to kill you and corrupt you. It certainly makes it less sad when you die if you have no brain cells to begin with. It's worse to be evolved and to know things.
This is the most egotistical thing
and like it is.
We're so evolved.
I'm not though, but I'm not. That's why I'm saying like if I died, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. I'm not really bringing much to the table in terms of like.
Well, you know what? The pen is mightier than the sword, my friend. And in the modern era, the microphone is mightier than the sword.
I suppose I'm no public health expert, folks. Okay, I like the store and I like the vitamins.
The Erewhons.
I fucking hate that place, milk. But I love it. It's so I can't afford it. I can't afford to go there. I can't afford to go there. I sometimes we'll pop in there and it's
once a week. I drop like probably once every 10 days. I drop like $120 on groceries, bro.
Once every what?
Like 10 days.
Yeah, dude. No, inflation.
Dude, like $400
$400
a month on fucking groceries to eat semi decently. Yeah. I don't eat clean constantly. I cook for myself every day. I have protein, veggies, all that shit.
I'm of the mindset that I'll sooner file bankruptcy than knowingly put a seed oil in me that isn't from a restaurant that I'm choosing to just bite the bullet.
Milk alternatives riddled with seed oils.
Oh yeah,
insane.
Everything is riddled with seed oils.
Insane.
Everything is riddled with endocrine blockers or disruptors.
Oh yeah,
everything.
DHT.
Everything is designed to take you for like. Here's the thing. Like I find the trans conversation to be so funny sometimes because it's like nobody's talking about the transhumanist element of it, which is actually what's important about it, and nobody's talking about the fact that like everything you eat makes you trans anyways. It really doesn't matter if you decide to chop your cock off because some granola bar you're eating for 30 years will do it for you. You'll just turn into a woman, or you'll turn into like a lizard, or if you're a man, or if you're a woman, you'll turn into a man. It's like even if you're not functionally a man or a woman, it's like in every other sense of the word, emotionally, you become fat, you grow hair in places you're not supposed to.
Girls are getting their periods alarmingly early these days because they can't stop eating fucking processed cheese and like
it's bad.
Boys, dude, I took fucking finasteride for my hair for a minute.
Yeah,
it's like 1 milligram DHT blocker. Fucked me up, dude.
What is it? DHT? I don't even know.
It's like the cousin to testosterone, basically. It's a very popular.
So what does it do to you?
It didn't. It can fuck up your sex drive, and it can make you more emotional. I was crying during movies.
You don't need
that
to
time
be
in my
more
life.
emotional. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need that at all.
Sensitive puppy.
So John was trans for a little bit.
I was trans for a little bit. It's like 1 milligram. Good
Between
news is
that
a lot of these
and the Doritos you're eating, it's like you're trans and you're a monkey and you're a toad.
I've been slowly dosing Ida with Doritos for the
so
past
fucked
like
up,
3
dude.
months.
He'll like
hilarious.
come over and he'll be like,
resist.
Doritos has a new flavor, and I'm like, I'm not interested. It's like a guy coming to your door, like it's like you're like a solicitor with chips, with like
They got the new barbecue flavor. They got the new
delicious.
ketchup flavor.
I don't know what you want from me. Turns out all the poison that they feed us is addictive and good.
You can take the girl out of Texas. You can never take the Texas out of the girl.
True.
And I know that Ida comes to LA. She's this LA chick. But I'll come to her. I swear to God, I come to you with a pickle or some fucking
different.
Doritos.
A pickle's not.
A pickle, some fucking Doritos. No, it doesn't matter. It's fucking those Southern gals Doritos. Like your junk food, and I will fucking come here.
But how often have I said no and then you force it on me? You're like, come on, just have one. Just have one. Just have one.
Take extreme ownership. Do some Jocko ownership on
John's
your own
version
shit.
of just the tip is like, no, just have 4 chips. Just have 4. just have 4 chips.
I try. Well, that's my thing as a friend. Is I always like my friends to have a little bit of my meal.
John doesn't want to be alone in his quest.
No, I want you all to enjoy. Well, I know you all like. I eat the best stuff.
Who doesn't like a Dorito? Everyone likes a Dorito.
I'm a big fatty, and I like to digest the most rich, delicious stuff. And I see all you people lying and wallowing in your own hate, and I want to give you some of my happiness and let you have some of that
poison,
that chai, that dirty chai latte with mocha in it.
It's taken me a minute to unlearn the food pyramid and to. It's so funny. It's like they constantly force pyramids on us. The food pyramid, the conspiracy pyramid. It turns out every pyramid is wrong.
The all-seeing eye.
It's just wrong. It's all wrong. It's everything's backwards. And yeah, that's why nobody has any trust in our institutions, because that's essentially a triangle of lies, triangle of sadness. What was that movie that came out? I didn't even see it.
I don't know.
But it is a triangle of sadness. It is. Yeah. It's and you know what the worst part is, that there's not even some good entertainment to soften the blow. Mm-hmm. Not even any good entertainment to soften the blow. And then when we get some, like Jesse Armstrong, for example, you can give us 4 seasons and then it's done. It's it's sad. It's sad. I have no faith in that anything is. I try to be optimistic, and I try to go through my day to day and like think about the good things. But what happens is you end up. I think part of life is you see so much like destruction and horrific shit around you that you eventually just kind of become numb to it, and then you do decide to live your life in a more self-serving way. And that's why everyone's a socialist when they're young and a capitalist as soon as they start making a little money or getting a little older. Like as your finances start to increase, so does the greed factor of it. And I think a lot of that is boosted by the nihilism that you inevitably are faced with when you realize that even if you did try to be a quote unquote, better person or provide more to more people or whatever, or try to be more utilitarian, that actually doesn't even work and it backfires. And so really the only way to achieve anything in life is to kind of approach it in a really individualistic way that doesn't really stand to benefit anybody else other than yourself and your immediate family. And that just becomes kind of you kind of become a bit more aware of that the older you get. And there's, what are you supposed to do with all these forces around you that you were powerless to their sword? And you either try to become as powerful as them,
what's funny is
or you just fucking submit to.
It's honestly like how they corral fish in the ocean.
No,
they put a big ring, and at the bottom of the ring releases bubbles, and it creates a fake wall.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I don't.
The fish
but
get
I'm
trapped
trying to
in the wall.
picture it. Oh, in the net.
The fish get not in that. It's a wall of bubbles. The fish get trapped in. It's just bubbles. The fish can't see beyond the bubbles. But if one fish just decided to swim beyond the bubbles, they can swim beyond the bubbles. It's very similar. You can escape pretty fucking easily, and you don't have to fucking. A lot of these rules that you have, the only rule you really have to abide to as an American is just eventually pay some form of taxation, or you'll get put in prison. Just don't.
If you're Hunter
don't kill a bunch
Biden,
of
you
people.
won't end up in prison.
Yeah, but even then, if you get rich enough, you don't have to do that. So it's like, just do it.
They only audit like poor people. They don't audit anybody that has any real money, especially people.
Well,
like,
they only audit people that are making like over like six figures.
That's not.
They don't audit poor people.
Yeah, they do. They audit.
If you're making if you owe under $50K in fucking taxes, they don't.
You
give
can
a
get
fuck.
audited. Sure, you can.
Dude,
Because it's not happening to you. It doesn't mean it's not happening
me.
to people. It's happening to people in lower income brackets. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that. I'm also saying the IRS, I don't think, has the resources necessarily, the time or the energy always to audit people that make a lot of money, because often their taxes are far more complicated. And so an audit on somebody that's extremely rich and has a bunch of tax loopholes available to them is far more tedious and complicated than auditing some schmo who maybe, or like just a working class person that, I don't know, maybe they made a mistake or something happened or whatever. And it's like that person's going to spend a lot more time in IRS jail or real jail than people with actual. But also it's like, if you make enough money, then you write the tax code. So it's like,
exactly.
what are we doing here? And then and then knowing that circle is not, you can't change that. You're like, all right, well, don't hate the player. Like, hate the game.
Yeah.
Or figure out the game and try to find some loophole. But I don't know. It's I'm making a lot of grand sweeping statements here, but it's like I haven't been so overwhelmed with so much larger than life information in quite some time that I have been like in the last few.
So what's the
first
days? Bit of larger than life information that's overwhelming?
Well, I don't know. Is China trying to dominate the world?
Yeah, of course. We're all trying to dominate the world.
Yeah, but do they want that responsibility, or do they just want to benefit from us running the world and make, business deals that benefit them? Huh?
They want to run the world.
I think anyone will take as much power as you give them, for the most part.
Well, they're taking. They yeah, we can talk about China if you want to get into China. Are you ready for this fucking autism?
No, actually, I don't want to go into that territory. Well, should we talk about something light? Should we be lighter today?
Be a little lighter. What do you got on the docket?
Well, it's between global domination or reality TV. So
Hell yeah, brother.
Should we talk about? Hey, should we do Vanderpump Rules or global annihilation?
Oh God.
Is there a media? I've never seen Vanderpump Rules.
I've never seen it either.
I can't do it, dude. I tried putting on 5 minutes of it because
who the fuck is Vanderpump again?
A bunch of women tried to, implored me to watch this show, and I couldn't
it's the women.
It's part of that Real Housewives franchise, and I've never watched that either. I just don't care. I simply do not care about those people. I would way rather watch Jersey Shore. Show me those people are interesting. The people like I'm like, oh, you married I don't know, the most famous or
Gianni.
Who?
Gianni. Snooki's husband.
No, that's different. I'm saying those people are interesting. Like the people that are on Real Housewives, it's like, oh, I married, a Maloof.
Yeah, they're like, I married Jeremy Gotti.
Yeah, my husband is one of the largest real estate developers in Los Angeles, and we have 4 sociopathic children, and we live in the 30 acres of land in Beverly Hills. I don't care. Save it, please. I don't care. But you want to give me the Selling Sunset hoes who like don't have that kind of money but are trying to really hard. That's funny. That's interesting, But what have you been watching on TV? Watching Beef, right? What's Beef?
I watched Beef. Beef was very interesting because I love some of the strongest kind of themes in story are revenge and redemption. And I always will say, top 5 kind of story archetypes is the Count of Monte Cristo revenge story. Why
is that? Why is the revenge story so?
Because revenge is something that it's almost like a personal form of justice that you watch High Plains Drifter. There's not High Plains Drifter. Yeah, I think High Plains Drifter had a thing about it. Revenge is the archetype that's 47 Ronin. There's every great story in history has to do with revenge almost. Like it's crazy. So revenge is really powerful as a driving factor. And it's something that's intrinsically human. And when you see it in the wild, that's not human. Like there's cases where tigers in India will seek revenge upon people who've killed like their parents or something, and that's something that's like startling.
How do I seek revenge against like the seed oil industry? How do I do that?
I could tell you a few ways, but it can't be broadcast.
How do we do that?
Can't be put on YouTube. Anyways,
come to the Patreon where we plot.
Come to the Patreon.
Where we really get down to brass tacks.
We can get down to fucking brass tacks.
I'm over here like, what can I say? I really want to talk about.
We can talk about hard targets and soft targets on Patreon. Anyways,
really avoided all the COVID talk. I mean,
but Beef was kind of special because it was really about it's about revenge, and with revenge you have 2 choices. You can really fuck someone over or forgive them, and it kind of dipped into that. It had it was something that was alien to me, which is the Asian American kind of story. I grew up around Asian Americans. I have tons of Asian American friends. But the cultural kind of struggle they feel, especially one character was a kind of a poor Asian American, the other one was much more wealthy, and see where their kind of upbringings intersect, and then
Chinese, Korean, what is it?
I believe it was Korean, but it also dips into like Japanese and Chinese, and I believe at one point I think both the main characters are Korean, but one of the richer woman, she her husband's Japanese. And her husband's mother was like a famous like artist, like modern artist. But Beef was cool because it was like, it's just the poor guy. He's tugging between seeking revenge on this woman and struggling with his own morality to the point where he's kind of finding God at one point. He starts attending a church, and the religious aspect is... there's a scene where he goes to a church and he's just weeping openly in the church because I think he's just, and it's not anything that's pro-religion, but it's just there's places on earth, or it's places you can reach in your life where you kind of feel open and you can't show emotion that not a lot of people have. And but it was just an interesting story. It wasn't that great. It was kind of...
Well, the reason I mentioned The Sopranos earlier is because also, 10 years since James Gandolfini died, which was really crazy. Wild that's been 10 years, but... Got to get rid of the cap. I can hear.
Sorry.
Just like put it away.
I have to fiddle with something. I have ADD.
That's
I'll do it silently.
That's crazy.
Welcome to my brain, dude. If I wasn't
fiddle, you live in a prison.
But unleash me. Unleash me. Give me something. Joe Biden, give me something to do. Do you know how good I am at logistics?
Dude, it's so crazy.
Do you know how good I am at doing multiple things at once? It's crazy.
But you're terrible at doing one thing at once.
Yeah, that's the point. I'm terrible at doing one thing at once, but I'm really good. I remember I worked in logistics in my early 20s where I was handling like 30 different delivery drivers driving around LA at the same time. When I quit that job, they couldn't find anyone to replace me. The business went under.
Yeah, I think I
Within
remember
like
telling
8
this.
months, the business failed
Well,
because they kept trying to hire people and they couldn't. It's just, I'm really good at being like,
most businesses do fail.
Yeah.
But we don't have anything. There's no like there's no real incentive, I think, for anyone to start like a thriving small business anymore. Like it's just everything is so everything is so against you a lot of times. With a friend of mine starting a business and is just having like such a hard time with all these different, I don't know, blockades they have. Even with pricing, it's like you really can't compete with corporate pricing. Like you really can't. There are no coffee shops in Los Angeles that are, there's no like normal small coffee shop or small locally owned place anymore that isn't either like trust fund, hipster, white kids with a lot of disposable income, doing their take on, Asian, Italian fusion. And then there's no like local, there's no emphasis on anything being local anymore. And it's interesting that that's happening. It's so easy for that to happen in a time where everyone's so locked into the internet and on their phones anyway, because it's like, what are you going to look up and notice? Mm-hmm. You're going to figure that out? Like, and even if you do, it's kind of like, well, whatever. I'll just order something from a ghost kitchen on my phone.
Yeah.
I'll grow a third
the ghost
hand
kitchen's
from all the
small
canola
business,
oils. And, suddenly you're like, you have 8 limbs. Someone's putting a chip in you.
Yeah, but
they're going to put you on a conveyor belt and shoot you out into some fucking project in Mars where you'll live in like a pod.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm assuming is going to happen.
Yeah, eventually we just need a new frontier. That's the bottom line, is eventually we're going to get to, once Mars colonization happens, we're going to be entering a new economic boom. So this is going to happen,
it's just so crazy to think about.
That's just
and what's
happen,
even crazier is I'm looking at it like, well, at least we got another place like to go to. Like it doesn't even.
Yeah, look at what the New World did to the cotton trade. Like it's just going to happen.
And you know what? I got to be honest. I know I'm really racking my brain to talk about anything other than UFOs because for the last 2 weeks I've not looked into anything else.
UFOs
I don't even
ass.
care about anything else. Like it doesn't. I can't even bring myself to care. All I can think about is that maybe there's a bunch of different dimensions and that they're in one dimension and we're in another, and they have to come to our dimension and adhere to our dimension's rules of gravity or whatever. And it's like, what are we going to sit here and like argue about like Hunter Biden all day? Throw him in jail. I mean, we have aliens here, folks. Like there are people, like they're with us, like they're amongst us.
Yeah, they're watching us right now.
And call me crazy, but it's like, hey, how about Joe Rogan, you invite me to follow RFK Jr.
Yeah.
and take my novice brain to talk about aliens for 3 hours. I'll do it.
You finally listened to the Grouch thing?
Yes. God, what a fucking.
Let's go through
what
that.
an insane.
Is it Grouch? Am I saying
Grush. It's Grush. It's Grush.
Grush. David Grush.
Well, what's interesting, dude, is some of the reporting from Leslie Kean, who's been really instrumental, like in UFO reporting, because not a lot of people have done the work she's done. Her and there's another guy's name. See, this is what I'm saying. Like now I can go somewhere.
Get into it.
Because and I'm sorry, I know we've spent a lot of time on this, but
no, they love it.
They love it, and I did a poll, and like most people that follow me, like don't think we're alone.
Yeah.
Like,
let's go. Let's fucking go.
It's interesting if people are listening to this that don't follow me on Instagram. So I'm like, how did you find this? Like, in what what? Anyway, I guess through the 4 other podcasts that are connected to this. Maybe that's a possible way. So the Grush interview it's News Nation, so I don't see why we wouldn't be able to play it. I think we can. See now, do you see it like a sparkle in my eye now? Like
you're a little excited.
And you've been, you know what, John, I'm gonna get a little sentimental here.
Mm-hmm.
I owe you a lot for the wisdom you have imparted on me with
my
this
autism.
stuff.
You have autism.
Yeah, because I feel like it's super important to be aware of this stuff. Why did that just start?
That kicks ass.
It's
I don't know what that is, but it kicks ass. Oh, is this the Space Force?
It's the Space Force website.
Space Force website's a vibe, dude.
It's so
all of
great.
you guys, just go to Space Force website, open it up, just go to bed.
They do have good logos. You were right about their outfits.
I'm joining Space Force.
Yeah.
Great outfits. I'm going to join Space Force. I'm going to kill an alien. It's going to kick ass.
Bro, somebody told me this is how they described my
They're
podcast.
called Guardians.
This is how someone.
Do you want to be you could be a soldier, airman, or sailor, or you could be a guardian.
You could be a guardian of the galaxy, or you could sit around and
sailor, airman, marine, guardian.
Yeah.
What sounds better, guys? Anyways, describe the podcast.
It's so funny. It's like the music started. We started talking about the aliens, and I'm like, I'm zen now. Now I'm comfortable.
I've been chill this entire time. I'm cool as a cucumber. I'm fucking Wyatt
I've
Earp
just been
over
inundated with so much awful information about, this is how people turn schizophrenic. Anyways,
Yeah.
So somebody was like telling me how they were listening to my podcast, and this is how they described it. They said, I was like, well, I hope I don't sound too crazy. And they're like, no, you crack me up. I enjoy your pod. It's a very easy, chill listen until you randomly start talking about building prisons for the homeless people.
Yeah, that's chill. That kicks ass.
I'm like,
that vibes.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think only homeless people should be in jail. You can throw Fauci in there.
I'm a big.
You can throw several other people in there.
I'm a big purveyor of community-based justice systems. But
take the Sackler family, throw them in there.
Yeah,
take a lot. I mean, there's a lot.
The Biden boy.
Biden boy,
get in there, Biden boy.
I think you should throw so many people in prison that eventually the prison becomes the desirable place to live. And all of our foremost leaders end up there, and then it just becomes this palatial, amazing thing. And then we're all stuck out here, like in wildfires and fucking, seed oils. And then they're basically staying at the Polo Lounge.
You know what people have forgotten about, but it's like an alternative for prison, and it's not what you think I'm about to say.
What? A gulag?
Exile kicks ass.
What do you mean exile?
I think we need to exile people. We kick them out of the country.
Oh, that does kind of rock.
We're like, you're fucking
cinematic.
exiled.
Yeah.
You can't come back. That's something we need to start doing again.
Hey, if you think about coming back, show them a video.
No,
show them a video of
get...
Gaddafi. Be like, if you think about coming back, we have people. John's there, ready with a stick.
With
I'm
there.
Pole.
I'm there with my long pole. No, you just.
He has a cattle prod.
You
like,
can
like
go
Anton
anywhere
Sugar.
but here. You go anywhere but here. We don't want you here. Excommunicated, exiled. You're gone.
Yeah.
We don't want you back. You're not a burden to our system. You can go down to Costa Rica. You can go to Russia. You can go to China. Do whatever the fuck you want to do here. Can't come back here. And all your stuff that you had here, it's ours now.
Yeah.
You're not only exiled, you're broke in those places. You kiss my ass. That's what I do.
Now, here's what's interesting, because you can't just exile everybody. Some people are.
Why not?
Because you're gonna have to. I'm saying the verbiage. You're gonna have to deport some people. Not everyone's worthy of an exile, right? Like not everyone is like
But could they not be? The thing is,
that would mean you really had to do something to piss off the guy. You have to seek. You have to be exiled.
If you exile low-level criminals, then the people who are high-level that get exiled, it's demeaning.
Well, there's no such thing as a low-level criminal in a foreign country.
I
guess. Well, no. Exile means. It's so. Well. Yeah. You.
I'd send to El Salvador.
It's difficult to repatriate someone, or to expect someone to get repatriated.
I say you just make a deal with these shitty countries and just be like, listen, we're going to start making plane flights down there, and we're just going to kick people out of the plane and fly back. Boom. Boom. And if you have anything to say about it, suck me.
Dude, John thinks of everything in terms of like
war,
like an action movie. No, not real war. You're always kind of like, what would war be like in a movie?
Dude, if I was a president, I'd exile people. I'd be like, listen, I would. Oh my God, so many members of Congress would get exiled.
We're sitting here with our vapes and our fucking our microplastics.
I was sending Ida the Steve King quotes and stuff.
Yeah, what was that? I would look at that for a second.
Steve King. He's
what
like he's like this member of Congress. It's like incredibly racist, but his quotes are very juvenile. He's like,
dude. By the way. Oh, no.
Yeah, he had a quote that said like 1 in every 100 immigrants are valedictorians, but the rest of them have calves the size of cantaloupes from running 75 pounds of marijuana across the border. And
who does?
Immigrants.
Oh, geez.
It was like he's saying that. It was just crazy. Steve King.
Holy shit. Stephen King. I love this music.
Space Force. Come on, guys. I wonder if we're going to get a...
Do you think we're special enough to have like an intelligence... adjacent guy or woman of color perhaps listening to us?
Of course.
That would be... No, really though?
I guarantee.
NSA, CIA, or otherwise. Fucking.
I'm gonna do a
Pentagon.
I'll
I'll take like a front desk girl at the Pentagon. Like I'll take one of that. Like not security clearance, nothing. I'll take that. I'll take someone who works for a defense contract. I'll take that.
I
just want a sense of legitimacy behind what it is that I'm doing here because
I have a friend who's a pretty innocuous. I have a friend who is a. If you look at the way he lives his life, it's kind of startling.
Yeah.
But actually, fuck it. I'm gonna shout him out here. Forrest Anon on Instagram. He's a very peaceful guy. Lives in the Sequoia National Forest alone in a cabin he built by himself. All this is public data. He has it on his Instagram.
Does he read fucking Thoreau too much or something?
Yeah, pretty. He just goes. He lives out in the woods. He's apolitical. He just sits there. But because of the way he lives his life, he attracts a lot of people on the far left and right.
Oh, interesting.
And he did a faux request. Are
you accusing him of being CIA?
No.
Okay.
He did quite the opposite. He did a faux request on himself after he was the FBI demanded that the FBI called his mom, asked him, and this is Forrest.anon on Instagram.
Jesus, John.
The FBI,
is this okay? Am I like hurting someone by doing? Like,
no. He'd be fine. He's a big fan of this podcast and the other podcast.
Oh, word. Okay, cool.
He got and you can look on his Instagram for the full story, but he got a call one day from his mom, and his mom said the FBI is calling me asking me if you could build a boom boom. And,
what?
A boom boom. And,
what's a boom boom?
I just don't want to get the AIs after us. You know it goes boom boom. Asking me if you're capable of building a boom boom. And he goes, what the hell?
Can you build a big fat ass for us, please?
Can you build a big ju? Can you do a BBL? And he then was interviewed.
You know what that is?
Yeah, he was interviewed by 5 FBI agents in a Starbucks. One of them a member of the joint.
Is this Jake Flores you're talking about?
All right. This is my boy Brandon. And he...
look, it better not be.
He was interviewed by 5 FBI agents, including a member of their Joint Terrorism Task Force.
That rocks.
Domestic Terrorism Task Force. And he did a faux request on himself, and it was 250 pages long.
Shut up.
Yes.
And this is just a random guy.
Yeah, the conclusion the FBI came to was that he likes to live on his own. He's a peaceful man that loves to feed mice in the woods.
Why did they take an interest in him in the first place? And why was he interviewed by these FBI agents?
Because he was posting on his Instagram that he wasn't the biggest fan of Israel's political stance with Palestinians. And I think somebody reported him, and they saw a man living alone in the woods, and they just had uniboom boom vibes off of him.
I've talked about Israel.
I'm sure if we did a faux request on ourselves, they would at least have 10 or 12 pages on us.
Now, are we having a bout of narcissism right now?
I hope so. Probably not. I think at some point.
Is this narcissistic schizophrenia?
No. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what the FBI's up to. I say crazy shit.
Is schizophrenia rooted in narcissism? No.
No, but we're all on the spectrum. We're all on a schizo spectrum, narcissist spectrum, BPD spectrum.
If you're on the internet and you're not like feeling little like tiny bits of schizophrenia, then you're really not looking.
The fucking
you're not
scrolling.
looking. The scrolling,
dude.
The
scrolling.
Do you ever go to Facebook? Can I just?
I haven't been to Facebook.
Can I do a social exercise right now?
My Facebook days are over.
Dude, I shared with Felix this girl that I follow that I used to, on Facebook. I'm friends with her. I used to work with this woman at a sports bar in Dallas when I was 16. Nice woman.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit of a drug addict, okay, a little bit of an alcoholic, a little bit of a fluctuating sexuality. She's a lesbian when her boyfriend pisses her off, and then she's,
yeah, that kicks ass.
It's that, you know what I mean? Yeah, so a little deranged. She's on TikTok. She's fucking, making the. Can I just show this woman to you? And
why not?
And I go to her Facebook sometimes to read her statuses, like to read her. God, remember we used to call them statuses? A Facebook status. That's so interesting.
Status report.
Going on Facebook and reading just what comments, regular people that you knew at one point in your life. People will write their whole life story on there. They will just write everything on there now, and it's
still.
Oh yeah.
God.
Oh,
I thought that was like a thing back in the day.
No, dude, John, it's some of the greatest entertainment I've ever encountered in my life. Are you ready for this?
Of course.
What should I call her? We're gonna give her a fake name out of respect.
Lindsay.
Lindsay, yeah. Lindsay Norton. Okay. I'm just gonna let you just look at her.
Give me this.
fuck? Does she delete them? She has
This is the most mean girl shit I've ever
so
done.
many. No, it's not even just her. I would do this to. There's many guys I do this to as well.
She's just. It just shows me my own Facebook page.
Oh my god, dude. Maybe she could find this though. Whatever. No, she could never. That's narcissism to think that she'd ever find it.
But also, who cares?
Bro, she says.
Let me read it.
No, this is sad. Now this is some
Delete
real
it.
this is some real mean girl shit. Okay,
Yeah.
I will do it on the Patreon though. I will do this RFK mean girl shit on the Patreon. We reserve that for Patreon. Here I'm going to be an upstanding member of society and report UFO to you. David Grush, let's get into
Grush,
it.
let's go.
But I have some thoughts on Nicole Norton. And you know what?
Didn't we agree her name was
I
Lindsay?
apologize if on the Patreon I made it seem like this guy is a complete quack. I don't know. Okay, I really don't know.
Wait, we're going back to this guy?
No, but he just popped up on the screen whenever I went to the Grush interview. So the interview, here we go. This is on News Nation.
Full screen this bad boy.
Existed, whatever they were.
If you look at articles.
The hell? Oh yeah, this is kind of cool.
It's because they're very subtle. And
Do you know how like
myself,
we watch compilations
but
of
just
90s
less
commercials
lines.
now?
Mm-hmm.
People will be going back and watching
Approved.
compilations of
Rarely
how
brown
some
lines,
random
proceed,
person
forehead lines
streamed
look better.
News
The effects of
Nation,
Botox
which is some
cosmetic
news
for
startup,
hours to weeks after injection
and
causes
watch
serious
the
we
live
can-
chat on
Your
the
doctor
side.
right away, as difficulty
And this is
swallowing,
going to be
speaking,
nostalgic for
breathing,
them
eye
Yeah.
problems, or muscle
when they have
weakness
chips in them.
Described as metallic and rubbery, though the government changed its story as to what it was, calling it a flying disc at first, then a weather or spy balloon.
It just read ridiculous to me that the US Air Force had changed its story.
Yeah, and they added additional elements over time and tried to conflate additional programs to explain some of the events.
Why are these things crashing?
Yeah.
I also just want to make it clear. I know nobody that's listening to this probably has any respect for CNN or watches it, but on the off chance that somebody on YouTube just randomly stumbled upon this video, if you're watching any mainstream news organization and they are not talking about this, they're not talking about this.
Bitch bait.
It should serve as confirmation that they're not purveyors of news in any sense at all.
Yeah.
You
This
know,
is
some-
insane, this interview.
Some are landed, some are crashed, and I think that's an interesting discussion that's come up. You know, as advanced as we are, as humans, right? Planes crash, cars crash. Just because you're some advanced sentience that has advanced technology doesn't mean some small percentage of your, I'll use the Air Force term like sorties, meet an unfortunate operational conclusion, as we might want to say.
Most people would tell you the Roswell incident has been thoroughly debunked. In fact, the Air Force published this report in 1994 to put the issue to rest once and for all. Grush has read it.
That analysis I did was a total hack job, and even anybody with analytical skills, if you read it, you can deduce that they're
trying to get to the
conflating
part where
multiple situations.
Here we go. Non-humans. This shit. Zenku was so good yesterday.
Wow, that was amazing.
They kind of don't give you
It
enough,
would
but
be
it's
nice
still
if
good.
that were true, but Mr.
I was
Grush
full.
says it's not.
The common interpretation from
I was
some
as well, but-
commentators is that there is a non-human species and it's incredibly benevolently well disposed to the human race.
Yeah,
This is
and
interesting.
I think that is
Like, why are aliens made in the face of humans, in our own image, rather? Why do we
think-
design them in our image? Why are they bipedal? Why do they have eyes?
I think
cetera.
carbon-based. I have a theory about this. I think if you're a carbon-based life form, the most popular, probably the most evolutionary successful form is probably a bipedal form. It's just a natural archetype, the same way every species has, or every culture has a story of dragons. It's probably just 2 arms, 2 legs. It's probably just
Why is an extraterrestrial life form
most
limited
mammals
to a physical form?
most mammals have 2 arms, 2 legs, or four limbs. It just seems like something that's natural that just happens. It's a universal archetype.
I guess I just look at so many different dimensions, and I'm like, well, the internet has shown us that this magic trick can happen.
Yeah, I don't think looking like a jellyfish is coincides with creating F-18 fighter jets. So probably you have to have 2 arms, 2 legs, do stuff like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The logical fallacy there is because they're advanced, they're kind. We'll never really understand.
This freaks me out. I like to
full
think of them as
intent in that
kind.
because we're not them.
I have
whatever
faith
them
in
is
other
or
civilizations,
are.
not ours.
But
But
I think what appears to be malevolent activity has happened based on not only nuclear site probing activities, witness testimony. I think at least if we look at it through a humanistic lens, it does appear negative, at least to us.
I've been told that there have been attempts to bring down craft, that we've acted offensively against non-human craft.
There have been instances, and there are certain techniques.
That's
Have
what
human
blew my mind.
beings been hurt or killed by a non-human intelligence?
that's crazy.
While I can't get into the specifics because that would reveal certain U.S. classified operations, I was briefed
Imagine
by
this
a few.
not being the biggest news story as soon as it leaks. And that's the reality we're in. It trended on Twitter for a minute.
Yeah.
A minute, dude. Andrew Tate will be there for 4 days. Like, what the fuck? That genuinely makes me angry. Like, it upsets me that people look at this as some...
Individual.
Whether or not he's, part of some disclosure campaign, the government is maybe he's some...
He's only saying things they're approving of him to say. That's the thing.
It's crazy. Even if that were the case, even if he's a useful idiot, that would be crazy. But if this is true, like... What?
I mean, if I was a CIA guy, I'd be like, get a guy out there with legitimate intelligence background, give him the most basic information,
Well,
a little bit more than what we have.
The unfortunate thing about this stuff is that, like, as usual, it seems that they are not disclosing any of this because it impedes their profit margins at their, war machine.
yeah.
Fucking apparatuses that they've built and insulated themselves with. I mean, like that is why, once again, we're not learning anything and we don't have the greatest minds working on this, is because how then could China compete in an arms race with the U.S. and how could both foreign governments, fight to keep all of the very impressive technology from some of these UFOs or whatever, not sharing this intel with one another. Once again, we're going to try to reverse engineer so we can just build better weapons and wars. And
Yeah, it is kind of funny. If you I don't want to sound like fucking John Lennon for a second, but it's like if we all just got together and we're just like, hey, we're
please
about
sound
to
like John Lennon. Let's make this
I
thing
know,
profitable.
right? If we're all just like, hey, there's so imagine you're the Aztecs, right? I had an analogy for this thought. So, imagine if you have the Aztecs, and but as opposed to the Aztecs who kind of had very limited contact with the old world, we not only had contact with the old world, they had some old world technology prior to Cortez showing up. Say they had a cannon sitting around, or like a sword, or like armor.
Right. Would they be able to operate it, or...
Yeah, would they be able to figure out what it is?
Could they figure it out?
They could probably take... they were metallurgists. They knew how metal worked.
Right.
They could probably figure out they might be able to figure out what it was. Say they had not only cannon, they had gunpowder, and they can kind of figure out how to work it. They could raise... We are, if this is true, then there are outsiders visiting our planet who it could have very bad consequences for us as a human race. And if we just got together and we're just like, hey, let's try to figure out how these fucking UFOs work, maybe,
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of foment
instead of
peace
relying on
if you wanted.
We're completely dependent upon, if there are extraterrestrials visiting our Earth, we're completely helpless. And we're dependent upon them.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Their omnipotence.
1,000%. And I'll blindly put my faith into the unknown far before I will the, very...
You're going to look real
very
stupid when you're in a space
corruption
jail.
here.
You're going to look real stupid when you're
I bet their
a
jail's
slave to
pretty
a bunch of
fucking
aliens.
nice.
No, brother, it's going to suck, dude. Space jail's gonna blow, dude.
I bet I could watch TV in my mind.
No.
In space jail.
Yeah, they're not gonna have any fucking secession in space jail, bro.
They probably give you Oculus and whatever chip they give you.
No, they're just gonna give you gray goo you gotta eat every day and then send you to the sulfur mines.
Does it taste good? Am I on
No,
morphine?
it's gonna have no
Are there
taste.
options here?
It's gonna
Can I
have
be
zero taste.
drugged?
And you're gonna get shot with a laser beam.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I mean, let's
on
just
the
play a little
program
more.
that there were malevolent events like that.
No, I'm scared. People have just heard you say non-humans may well have murdered human beings.
That seems to be the case at one point, yeah.
And there's more. Grush says the United States is not the only country that's encountered NHI and their technology. He says our geopolitical rivals have their own crash retrieval programs, which they are also secretly exploiting for military purposes.
We're in a competition with their adversaries to understand this, and it's a multi-decade Cold War that has been under our nose for so long, and there is no good way to level the playing field and hold other nation states accountable if they're doing unethical or illicit activity as it relates to this subject.
It's hard not to believe
And
this guy. He's
I
just
think
got
the
such
secrecy
he's just such a
is
great
actually
speaker.
putting us in a very dangerous position where a country might make a breakthrough. Let's say it's an adversary of ours, and it is so destabilizing.
You say there's been a Cold War behind the scenes with Russia and China.
There has been a Cold War with our peer adversaries, yeah.
Why
That's really
hasn't
crazy.
Russia or China come out and spoken publicly about this?
I think they're in a similar, pickle as us, where it's they understand maybe some of the socioeconomic destabilization factors in their own society.
But if this non-human intelligence is so advanced, and at least some of them are malevolent, why haven't they destroyed us already? Perhaps some fragile yet combustible détente has been reached. Grush
Right, this shit blew my mind. Okay, this
Yeah.
agreement.
an internal document
Yeah.
about
Bro.
his discoveries that refers
Whoa.
to agreements that risk putting our future in jeopardy.
And it's quite clear that you're talking about agreements between America and non-human intelligences. Have we made agreements with non-human intelligences?
That's the kind of information I really hope national leadership is able to get to the bottom of.
I
What
need to
does that
pin you down on this.
mean?
Are there
It's a non-answer.
agreements between non-human intelligences and the American government?
I think that's a question that I would like to know all the details of as well.
So what
That
I'm
is
getting from this
crazy.
at the base, foundationally, what he's saying and not saying is he's not privy to any agreements that have been made between extraterrestrials
But
and
he's
humans.
not
If what
denying
he's saying is true, what he's saying is someone has negotiated with extraterrestrials in our government.
I mean, that is
There have been
astounding.
meetings.
And this is very interesting right here with Nixon.
Know of at least one agreement among humans that's worth noting. This 1971 agreement between the US and the USSR on measures to reduce the risk of nuclear war. Whether or not you believe Dave Grush, this document proves the two superpowers were aware that UAP existed, whatever they were.
If you look at Article 3 of that treaty, it talks about unidentified objects near nuclear facilities or interfering with communications. And that is a treaty that has been used, from what I understand, to notify each other if there's a concerning event.
And that's a way of saying to the Russians, hey, don't shoot at us. It's not us.
Can you pause it real
Yeah,
quick?
I mean, that's
Sorry, I just need to piss my balls off. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Oh, and I forgot what I was going to focus on. George Santos we have, and then we're done for this one.
Sure, we got more GC.
He's might go to jail, so yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude, he's in trouble. Yeah, okay, to wrap it up on the aliens, they're amongst us. They're here. Everyone should know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're supporting RFK Jr. for the 2024 race, which I find pretty interesting as well.
I like Bobby.
Please stop vaccinating my autistic alien son. Okay, so here we go with George Santos. This because I forgot I was going to talk about this. He might go to jail, dude.
What?
Our boy. And I want to make it clear here. If anyone has a connect with George Santos, I want him on this show. I want him to know that we support him.
Tweet him, dude.
In every way possible. I will campaign for him. I'll register as a Republican if I can help this man.
Tweet him, dude.
Be free.
Get in his DMs, Ida.
I should tweet him.
Yeah, look at you.
I should tweet
You think he's not going to
He's
respond
gay.
to you?
He's
Yeah,
gay.
they love women like you. They love fucking Persian fag hags. You'll fucking get.
True. True. The co-signers of the bond. Yeah, so he doesn't want people to know who signed his $500,000 bond.
Oh, it's his daddy.
The co-signers, yeah, it's his mom who was caught in the ash cloud of 9/11. The co-signers of the bond keeping George Santos out of pretrial confinement have 2 days to withdraw from financially supporting their New York Republican before a federal judge pulls them into the public eye. So reads the intriguing summary of a ruling by U.S. District Judge Joanna Sabert, who is presiding over a federal criminal case accusing Santos of fraud, money laundering, and theft of public funds. Santos has been fighting an order that would identify the suretors, helping post his $500,000 bond on those charges after U.S. Magistrate Judge Ann Y. Shields issued the initial order. Santos sounded the alarm, suggesting that the ruling could put people close to him in danger. The beleaguered representative has suggested that he would prefer to go to jail rather than drag them into the sunlight, claiming that they are family members and their safety is at risk. You're not wrong, John. It could be his daddy.
Yeah.
Could be a figurative daddy as well. Here in the instant case, the suretors are likely to suffer great distress, may lose their jobs, and God forbid, may suffer physical injury. The congressman's attorney, Joseph W. Murray, claimed in a letter that to the court dated June 5th. So this is what they're saying about him. Now, what's weird is he has bond in the first place. So this is
learned that a federal judge has ordered the names
Look
of
at this guy.
three
Why is this guy a
people who helped
reporter? He
George
should be on a
Santos
fashion
make bail
show
last
runway or
month
something.
to be
It's like the prettiest
revealed
reporter of
on
all
Friday.
time.
Yeah, a major development there because this follows lawyers for the New York representative saying their client would rather go to prison until his trial begins rather than reveal who paid his bail in the federal fraud case against him. The judge says her decision will give Santos's legal team enough time to appeal the order. Santos's lawyers asked the court to seal paperwork identifying the three individuals who helped him make his $500,000 bond in May. They argue those individuals could face retaliation for helping their client.
And so his defense attorneys are arguing that they, claim that by releasing the identities of these individuals, that could cause harm, that could potentially create retaliation against these individuals, potentially cause other undue harm, whether that's them losing their job. And so that's why his defense attorneys argue that the congressman would rather go to jail than to have to give up the identities here. I would point out, though, that in the day after this indictment and the congressman pleading not guilty to those 13 charges, we asked him up here on Capitol Hill who paid his bond, and he declined to comment at that time and has declined comment since then. I think what's interesting to note about this filing is that it now appears that the House Ethics Committee.
I just have to say, the reason I love this guy is because he has not done what Trump has done, right, culturally, or he's not that impactful, but he has become a nuisance in a really fun way.
Yeah.
And the fact that these people on CBS News have to break down George Santos in a live nightly news segment, a guy that has lied about absolutely every single thing to get him elected, is hilarious. He's the ultimate troll. We're post entertainment in terms of our political sphere. You can't even be considered anymore if you're not entertaining in some way.
He's bizarre.
He's bizarre, but
bizarre.
He's great. He's super
also
talented.
Has an interest in finding out who these individuals may have been as well, and have asked the congressman about it.
It's also unusual because it seems to draw more attention to the fact that someone bailed him out and that he doesn't want the public to know.
That someone still supports him, right?
Well, not just that, but that he doesn't want the public to know who did it, and he's afraid that they may get retaliated against. How unusual, Nicole, is this an ask of a judge?
Well, I think, again, this is obviously a very highly sensitive case.
What are the
We
comments?
know that certainly in the case of the congressman, he has continued to defend his innocence. And so from that standpoint, that could be part of why he doesn't necessarily want to put that information out there, especially while this case
Everyone's
is
so
still
stupid in the
ongoing.
comments.
Yeah,
So,
they're-
obviously this was his
George
chance and
Santos
his
is the
attorney's
perfect
chance to
poster boy for the Republican Party.
What?
No, he's not.
Dumbass.
Fucking David
idiot.
Duke is, not this guy. This guy's
David
weird.
Duke. I mean, what is like, John, you should be in the comments. Why is David Duke a perfect representation of the Republican
I
Party?
don't know,
That
right,
doesn't
white
even make
racist guy.
John, please.
That's evangelicals, brother.
They're not even. It's not an evangelical party anymore. They don't do the majority. They're not the. That's not the fucking. It's not 2008. The Tea Party ain't running shit these days. Although they are running the. Who we choose for judges on the Supreme Court, which is interesting. Yeah, dude, he's in big trouble. I don't think can get elected again, which is unfortunate. But he's aligning himself with the right people. He's really doing work on the internet to schmooze. He's hopping in those. Replies. I think he's talking about Trump really at every moment. It's probably so hard for someone like Trump to be like, there's a congressman who supports me and I have to just pretend like he doesn't exist because he's
crazy.
Because he's a complete liar and a fraud about everything. Like, because he loves anyone that supports him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's so back. He's going to be the next president probably. George Santos, it was fun. It was fun. And who's going to play him in a movie? Who's going to play George Santos in a movie? He's going to be great. Yeah, I don't know. I really just want to talk about who I think should be in jail. I do want to talk about the public health aspect of everything. I want to talk about how we're being poisoned all the time with various substances. But because the freedom of speech doesn't really exist anymore, I don't really feel comfortable doing that in a public forum. Although I might have to change that pretty soon.
What do you mean?
I do want, I've made it a point not to talk about COVID because I do find it pretty depressing. And if
I feel like we have to wait like another year before you fucking talk about this shit. It's insane.
What do you mean?
If we can talk about COVID.
Well, it's just first of all, it sucks. Who wants to talk about COVID? It sucks. It sucks. We all were being held captive by.
It's kind of fun sometimes, though.
It is, but
it's kind of fun.
It's fun telling the truth, but it's not fun when you're looked at as a psychopath everywhere you go, especially in this neighborhood. I feel like there's no like-minded people. I was at the weed shop, at the green shop, at the nursery, if you will, and I was talking to the front desk, and she was talking to me about all this house music, and I brought up some, house DJ that I guess influenced Kanye's Yeezus album, and she's like, I don't like Kanye West, and I'm okay, bitch.
Shut up.
It's music, and he's objectively one of the most famous musicians. Even if you don't like him, okay, can you not act like his music is? I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah, there's nobody that was.
Stop lying.
There's
to
no
yourself.
artist that's ever been canceled that was as big as Kanye West.
No, none.
No.
There's
no comparison.
Hold on, John Lennon.
He wasn't really canceled.
No, he was killed.
He was killed.
He was killed.
Yeah, but
He
even
wasn't
then,
canceled, he was
his
killed.
level of artistry.
They
wasn't.
tried to cancel him though because of the Jesus comment he made,
What did he say?
where he said, we're more famous than Jesus," which was
Yeah, but that was
which
just categorically false. But yeah, continue.
No, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Kind of true too.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
No, but it's a funny thing to say because you're so famous that it's very fun. It's a very funny comment. How's your Christian journey, by the way, before we get out of here?
Going well. Me and the Lord doing good.
Yeah. What have you guys been talking about lately?
That's between me. That's between me and Big J, brother.
Oh, you don't talk about the news or
No, I just kind of
the comings and goings of various lying congressmen and women.
No, I just the very important thing is to acknowledge that you're a sinner and then continue on.
Or you can not acknowledge it.
No, you gotta acknowledge it for Big J.
Do you apologize for eating Doritos and putting?
That's not a sin.
That's totally a sin.
Eating Doritos?
John. Yes.
No. That's your Echo Park fucking. Where in the 10 Commandments does it say don't eat Doritos?
I mean, not to harm one's body. Is that not a sin? It's the vessel we've been given. It's the container that,
I kick ass. My body's awesome.
Yeah, but you do hurt it when you eat stuff that
No, because I just, I just fucking roll around and kick some butt, and then I offshoot whatever the Doritos did to me.
I met some guy in Ireland that, like, he literally, everything he ate, like, he knew the people that had the farm.
Yeah, that's cool. That's like
it's
a very
crazy
European
to
thing.
Me. That's insane to me.
That's what I
insane.
want to eventually get to,
Yeah, I don't
Eventually
know.
I'm going to, I actually want to start desalinating my own water at some point from the
How
ocean.
the hell do you desalinate your water?
It's actually really easy to do on a micro scale. When it gets complicated is when you're doing a macro scale. But yeah, you just get a big glass bowl and a big glass ball. It's kind of like basically a still, but instead of making alcohol, you just evaporate water into from the ocean into a separate container, and you have
Don't
pure
you
water.
want the salt in it though?
I would add minerals afterwards.
Oh,
I don't
I
want the
see.
salt content it currently has. I would have to add minerals afterwards. But like, I want to get to the point where I can essentially, where I live, what I do, I own my own property.
Yeah,
I
what's the
desalinate
dream?
my water. I'm buying
Are you composting?
no, because that'll come later. So stage one.
It's a joke.
You want to do you want the whole thing?
yeah.
All right, look up 2001 Chinook on Google. Look up 2001 Chinook.
You have like a whole. You really mapped this out. Chinook. How do you?
CHIN.
CH.
Oh, okay.
How do you spell it?
Let me see.
CH what?
CHINOOK. Concourse. Yep. There we go. Go to images.
Oh wait, what? This is a trailer.
Yeah.
This is your.
Hi
own
there,
property?
folks. Levi
Full
Kuhn,
screen this
Kuhn
bad
Truck
boy.
and RV, the best little
All right,
RV dealership
so I'm getting
around.
one of these fuckers.
Please
And
check
for
out our
the price
website,
of $90,000, it could
No,
be
no.
yours.
I'm gonna get this for probably 37. It's about $400 a month for me.
RV.com to view all of our inventory. We do not put any pricing on YouTube, so if you have pricing
So I'm gonna have one of these
queries,
bad boys.
you can give us a call, or you can jump over to
Is
our
this
website
like
where all of our
starts
prices
with a
are
W?
listed.
Like
We are
Winnebago?
a full-service
Yeah.
dealer. We do offer warranty
No, this is
as well as
Chinook.
financing
Winnebago's its
packages.
own company.
If you have any questions
So
on those,
I'm in
please
the
call us
process.
in
I'm gonna
our
get one of
office
these things.
at
I'm gonna get a trailer hitch on the back where I can stick
419-899.
a Royal Enfield Himalayan on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a smaller motorcycle, a dual sport motorcycle. Check out the inside.
All right.
You're gonna love this. Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Well.
Ooh. Ooh, very comfy.
I don't love it.
Yeah, but you'd love it. If you were camping, you'd love to have this.
It's not blowing my mind.
If you were camping, you'd love to have that. It's got a shower and a toilet.
You wonder what kind of stains are in that couch.
Oh, come on now.
You wonder.
It's got a shower and it's owned by old people. They don't fuck.
Old people, I love them, but
They don't fuck. They should,
it's
at
not-
worst, they'll have
it's-
some
they
poo-poo.
don't. They're okay. First of all, don't say that word. But you know, they're a little dusty.
Whatever, they got skin dust. So you just clean it up
Kidding.
real
They're
good.
not-
Get it
they're not
detailed.
dusty. It's just,
Get it detailed. You'll be good.
What is that? Upholstery. I mean, for the love of
I
God.
love it. It's it's the coziest shit you've ever sat in.
don't
You know
love
it's the
it,
coziest.
John.
You know it's the coziest
Be
shit you've ever
honest
sat.
with
I actually
yourself.
love the early 2000s, late 90s Roseanne aesthetic. So
Roseanne is pre this.
yeah, whatever. I'm gonna get one of these bad boys, park on the coast. I'm gonna get a storage container, and I'm gonna start prepping pretty hard.
For
Because
what?
for Doomsday, and I'm gonna start.
That's
learning,
our holiday around here.
Yeah, look at that bad boy, 3-burner stove.
That's not bad. It's a gas stove.
Yeah.
All right.
It's got its own toilet, got its own shower in there. Gets about
Okay.
12 miles to a gallon, 13 miles a gallon, which
My
isn't
Jeep back in the day was like 14.
isn't horrific, but isn't bad either. So I'm just gonna move it every
In
3
this
days.
economy, I mean,
Yeah, I'm just gonna move it every 3 days. Any around town stuff I need to do, I'll do on the
You gonna
Himalayan.
bulletproof it?
No, that will come eventually. I'm just gonna have this. I'm gonna any kind of like.
How else will you scare off your enemies?
Well, that's when the prepping comes. I'm gonna
I
keep.
see.
I'm gonna get rifle, handgun. I'm gonna get a plate carrier set up. I'm gonna get a. Essentially, I'm gonna start learning land navigation. My buddy's gonna start doing that with me. I'm gonna join a local mycology class in October.
Oh yeah,
I'm learning about mushrooms and wild forageables.
forageables. What a
Yeah,
name.
I'm gonna look at the VHS player.
Wow, that rocks.
That kicks ass.
That does kick ass.
And then
yeah.
I'm gonna get I'm gonna do land nav, mycology, local foraging. I want to learn trauma first aid, and because with this basically I'm eliminating my rent payment. I'm combining my car payment and rent and kind of in one thing. So I'll have a lot extra money to play around with in the summer or every month. And I'm just gonna kind of just do this stuff and become focused on jiu-jitsu, physical fitness, swimming. Park along the PCH.
PCH, that's so fucking far.
Park in Topanga Canyon, Woodland Hills. Yeah, it's not that far. It's really
it's
not that
ideal.
far.
I mean,
It's half an hour, no traffic, and then
that's not true.
100% sure I can get
From here
on a motorcycle.
This
lane
ain't a
splitting.
motorcycle.
I know, but I'm gonna get a Royal Enfield Himalayan. I'm gonna stick it on the back to and from stuff. I'm gonna be on a bike. I can lane split. I'll be here lickety split. Even hot.
Hey, you do you do you. I mean, listen, it's not bad. It's as long as it's not like your daily driver.
That's gonna be. I'm gonna move. That's gonna be my mobile home on wheels. The daily driver is gonna be the Himalayan.
I hate the word daily driver. I don't like that. I don't like participating in that.
It comes with Chinook. Fucking.
Why are they all like Native American names? Winnebago, Chinook.
I don't know. We like to honor our Native Americans with by naming RVs after naming military helicopters and RVs after them.
Yeah, vehicles for nomadic transport. We name after them. Interesting. Yeah, no, that's not a bad plan. I mean, listen, I do like these. Let's look at a nice one for a second as we leave here.
Well, I have a couple other options. You could look at Winnebago Rialto. That's another one I'm looking at.
I want to look at a current Winnebago. Like what's
well, I mean, they're amazing. What are you talking about?
I want to know like what the
the
features
Class B
are.
Winnebago RVs are amazing.
Let's see what a 2022 does. Holy shit! I used to dream about kind of having an RV when I was a kid. It is kind of a dream of mine.
Oh, they're great.
This is perfect for
$300,000. That's a house right there.
For UFO hunting. It's perfect. You could really UFO hunt with one of these.
I can UFO hunt in my Chinook, bro.
But how nice would it be to UFO hunt in something you could never in 1,000 years afford in my lifetime
crazy.
or your lifetime? We could never afford
Look
this.
at the inside of that thing.
This is what music do they have? Okay, not bad. This is a literal home.
Yeah.
Holy this is huge.
Yeah.
Dude, this is like bigger than our place.
Clyde Winnebago's out there killing it.
How does this fit on this doesn't fit on a lane.
So if you look at the bus, the outsides go out. The sides of the bus will extend and they close in.
So when you're
parked.
driving, you can't have them extended?
No.
Oh my God, dude. Did you know that it looked like this?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could have this on the road.
Yeah, these are like tour buses, man.
Bro. Dude, it's like an iPad. Oh my God.
Yeah, look at that.
On wheels?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Fucking wheels?
Look at Winnebago Rialto. This is my other option.
Okay, hold on. This is insane. John. This is insanity.
Oh wow, that's nice.
A full ass shower. And with a little seat.
Yeah.
You can sit.
Problem is you got to secure everything when you're driving, so it's like.
Oh yeah, how do you do that?
Just make sure everything's secured.
That's ridiculous. That's insane. It almost feels too big to be safe on the road, something like this. Like, why is the bathroom so big? How much does this cost?
Oh, God, I'm going to say 300,000. 400,000.
Wow. This is fucking
Okay, look
crazy.
up Winnebago Rialto. This is my other option. I might get smaller than the Chinook. It's based off of a Eurovan, a Volkswagen Eurovan.
Winnebago Rialto Class C RV. This is a more detailed.
Oh, it's a Class C?
What does that mean?
Reflect many of the repairs and upgrades I've performed since my first video.
How many bodies can you fit in this one?
You can see that video here and compare some of the changes.
This is basically a beefed up Volkswagen Eurovan that Winnebago took and
The Rialto
made.
is built on a Volkswagen Eurovan cutaway chassis.
Thanks, buddy.
Volkswagen stopped importing the Eurovan into the United States with the 2003 model year.
Yeah, can we get inside of this thing, please?
That's
Oh, please don't show me that.
That's a good
Jesus.
looking.
Don't care. Yeah, here we go. To the nitty gritty.
Windows are large and visibility is excellent. Over the cab, we see
Yeah, let's get inside, buddy. Yeah, there we go.
the cabinet faces that you will see in the van have been replaced. I added these fairly recently along with the door hardware.
I mean, he's done some good mods to this.
As well as the LED lighting on the ceiling.
Okay. I want to get like an overview. Let's just
Here we have the standard microwave.
Yes,
this runs on AC power, obviously.
Tesla power.
Mm-hmm.
And here we have the propane stove. And like most RV propane
It is
stoves,
crazy you
it's
could
been
drive
barely
this. Like conceptually for me, I'm still like a child when I think about the
Because it's
concept of
barely
this.
used. I'll be using that shit every day.
What does it look like on the inside?
To the right of the stove.
Yes, there's a
And
sink,
then
there's drawers. Why don't we see
back
like
and forth and
I
rotating.
want to see the cabin.
So it can be used for additional guest seating, or you can use it for sitting at the built-in
This
desk.
guy's not giving us anything. Let's go to a different one because I just want to see the inside of it. Oh my god.
Nice. He's got hillbilly music.
Interesting.
It's just so small on the inside. You just kind of, there we go.
That's super small.
Yeah, you get a little sink.
Why is he putting this music on? I mean, it's like
You'll sink those two
Like
seats fold
Deliverance?
down into a bed.
Yeah, I mean, I could, listen, it's not for me.
It's got a
but
bath. It's got a shower toilet in it.
You
Crazy,
can kind of
right?
go anywhere you want to go. I get it. I get this like get up and go attitude a lot of
Mhm.
people have these days, especially when, you could get invaded at any moment,
Guess the miles per gallon on that bad boy.
14.
22.
No.
It's a Eurovan. Yep. V6 Volkswagen V6.
Eurovan, like it's made in Europe? Or?
Well, that's just the name of the Volkswagen. Because I'm also thinking about getting a Eurovan, but surprisingly, they're more expensive than the Rialtas, which is funny.
Really?
Yeah, they just have more. They have more of a collector kind of thing. So the Eurovan, that basically when you see that Winnebago Rialta, that's just they took a Eurovan and then beefed it out, added a bathroom to it, made it longer, made it wider, added like a bed. But the Eurovan is just has like a little tiny kitchenette inside of it, and it has a pop-up tent roof. So you pop the roof up when you want to stand up inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about getting a Eurovan too. It has an awning on the side you could pull out. But the Eurovan can be used for a daily driver.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
it is a van. It kicks ass. Something again, one of those, the Rialta, the Chinook. If I get the Chinook, I'm gonna get the motorcycle no matter what. But the problem with the Chinook has rear steps on it, and it doesn't have a trailer hitch. I need a trailer hitch to.
What's your time frame for this? When do you anticipate?
3-4 months.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, that's my new life.
Okay.
And then eventually, once I'm done prepping, or like once I get satisfied with my level of prep, which a vision will never happen, I'll maybe be able to take some trips. So all the extra money. Make some
Interesting.
investments. The whole goal is to do this for maybe 2-3 years and save up to buy a house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff. Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You live out your best van life. Live it out.
Chinook life.
All right, guys. I'm going to take a shot of vodka. We're going to go to the Patreon, and I'm going to tell you what I really think about the political dystopian landscape
Can I squeeze the
that
candle?
we live in. No, because
Let me squeeze the
because I've been
candle.
squeezing it, and we shouldn't squeeze it because it's going to get weird. It's going to look like a dick. I don't want it looking like a penis. I don't even like saying that on
Okay,
here.
okay.
She cute the way she is. All right, guys, we're going to talk about the big plague that we've all been plagued with, and some shit that I don't know. Daddy YouTube doesn't want us to have on here because I keep hearing, Theo Vaughn got his shit taken down. A bunch of people got their shit taken down by YouTube. It's been, it's pretty weird. It's pretty fucked up. But we don't blame YouTube for that. Never, because we love them and we love
We love YouTube.
We love you so much. We love everybody over there at YouTube HQ. Thank you.
Thank you so much for providing a great platform we could spread ideas on.
Yes.
Thank you, YouTube.
And
you keep freedom alive.
Yes, you do. Don't tread on YouTube.
Yeah.
Good night.
Night.
And good luck.
Hello. I'm here. I'm queer. Get used to it.